Welcome back to Mr. B's video channel, where we pity the poor fools who try and take our honey. I'd like to start this video by giving a special shout out to a couple of my viewers. I don't even know if they're subscribers. I think the Eddingtons are. First of all, thank you, Eddingtons, for this super awesome bee shirt. You may be thinking, Jed, this video is coming out on a Saturday, and you sent us a thank you note that you had that shirt on Thursday. Have you been wearing that shirt for 3 days? That could be true. I maybe have been wearing this shirt for 3 days, but it's coronavirus, so nobody really cares. But that should be a sign that I really think this shirt is awesome. And as a YouTube, kind of video creator, I can say that approximately a fifth of my subscribers are basically sending me gifts, which is a pretty high hit rate for people sending me stuff. So that's awesome. So thank you, Eddingtons. My second shout out is to my niece, Lucy, who has just recently had back surgery. Lucy, if you're watching this video, I'm sorry, because there's got to be better things to be watching than this. When you are reduced to watching your uncle make bee videos, that means you're at the low point, which means it's all going to get better from here, Lucy. So I'm glad you're getting better, starting to feel better, and very soon you'll have so many fun things going on in your life that you will not be watching my bee videos. I'm going to do 3 things today. First of all, the temperature is getting super hot here, and the hive can get super hot inside. The last time I opened it up, I noticed it was like an oven in there. And so I'm going to open up the entrance reducer that basically will allow some more airflow to get into the hive. I'm also going to kind of give you a view of what's going on with my feeder. There's a lot of very young bees that are in there, as my first kind of wave of bees has kind of come out of their brood. And then third, I'm actually going to open up the hive. I put a second deep brood box on to give them more space to grow and kind of expand the hive. And I'm going to see if they've actually started to expand into that. I don't think I'm going to get into any frames necessarily, but we'll see what happens. I'm also going to try some video editing. So I'm going to hit pause at this point, take some video, and then hopefully I'll figure out how video editing works well enough that this will be a coherent video. So we'll see, who knows. Before I pull out the entrance reducer, I thought I would just take a little bit of video of what's going on at the front of the hive. As you can see, there's pretty good activity. There's a lot of foragers coming back and forth. If you spot any that have big yellow chunks on their back legs, or there was one that just had big orange, the yellow is pollen that they're coming in and collecting, which the bees use as a protein source to basically feed bees and kind of help the bees kind of reproduce. The orange, I think, is propolis, or it could just be a different kind of pollen. I'm not sure. But propolis is basically a result of kind of tree sap, tree resin, and the bees use that as a glue to basically kind of put together any like holes or anything that they need to kind of glue up and make sure the hive is secure and no kind of issues get in, like ants or anything else like that, or me. They try and keep me out, but I'm unstoppable. You'll also see a number of bees, and I'll maybe even get a little closer here. They're sitting out and have their kind of butts up in the air. I think there's kind of a couple things going on based on other people's videos that I watch. Certainly you kind of see bees that are trying to do some fanning. As I mentioned, it's getting really hot out, staying in the 60s through the evening, getting up almost into the 90s during the day, and they're trying to create ventilation. But they also kind of release a pheromone from a gland on their back that is, kind of a marker that allows bees that are going out and foraging to kind of know where they're supposed to come to get back. There's also, I don't know if I could necessarily point out guard bees. There's supposed to be guard bees. Who the hell knows? I'm a total rookie. Who am I kidding? I don't know anything about anything, but there might be some guard bees that are kind of watching out, kind of watching the bees that come in and make sure there's no issues going on. Because I went from my smallest hive reducer to kind of the other option there, but again, I worry that they're going to get too hot, so I'm going to pull that out at this point, which could irritate them. You may have noticed in my introduction I was not wearing any protective gear. I've kind of just given up on it. I don't think the bees care about me. I'm sure they'll tell me if they do by stinging me or getting really angry sounding. But I'm gonna go get a tool, pull out that entrance reducer, and then I have some screen. It was basically screen that came with the package of bees that I bought. And I folded it all up so there's no kind of sharp ends, and I'll use that to allow them to have a smaller entrance, but allow air to flow through it. Here we go, opening up the entrance. Sorry for the shadow. I'm going to use my hive tool, which is maybe not the best tool. Now let's see if this will come out. You can see we got some bees that are on there. I'm just going to gently lay this against the hive so that they can crawl right back up into it. And let's see what happens for a few minutes before I put that screen in. So I'm back in what I think of as my bee viewing chair that I sit right next to the hive. I come out almost every day and kind of sit by the hive. I find it relaxing, which may be weird, but it's very interesting to watch the bees work. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this screen and tuck it in. I don't know if that's the best job or not. We'll see. I'm not sure if that's the best setup or not, but we'll see what happens with that. Bees seem a little bit more agitated. I still haven't been stung after all these weeks, and I've basically been begging for it by not wearing any protective gear and being right in the bee's face. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna sit here for a minute and see what goes down, and I'm actually gonna pop the top and look at what's going on with the second deep brood box that I put on. I have been feeding the bees, so there is a box, this top box, which is a medium-sized box, is really just kind of empty except for this feeder. And I've been using the pretty much universally prescribed 1-to-1 sugar to water mix. So I just put a cup of sugar for every cup of water, and I've been doing about 3 cups of sugar, probably almost every day and a half to 2 days. So these guys are going through sugar like a bunch of crack addicts. And really the sun maybe isn't perfect, but you can kind of see down that there's an opening below. They crawl up into that. They come and they can drink the sugar water, and they don't actually get into the basin that I pour it into. They're kind of trapped in that clear compartment. The bees are a lot smaller than the last time I made a video of the feeder. Again, I think a lot of these are very young bees that were kind of the first bunch of bees that came out of the queen. So I am going to take this top off and look into the top of the hive just to see if they have started to kind of pull wax or put wax onto the frames that I added in the second deep box. So I put my top layer aside. It's sitting on top of some rocks. I wanted to keep it kind of level because there was some sugar water still left in it. I purposely let a lot of it run out. But before I put it down on those rocks, I did check the bottom. You're supposed to always check and make sure the queen isn't climbing around on there because that could be traumatic for her to be outside of the hive. Kind of what you can see is I don't think there's hardly any activity that's been happening on most of these frames. Certainly I see some bees that are inside the middle frames, and they've been climbing up and down certainly to get to the sugar water. And I may take 1 second to pull a frame out just to see if there's any activity going on in the middle ones that is of significance. can see this, they are starting to pull comb out, and the very first frame I pulled out has my queen on it. There's Beyonce. She's got the blue dot on her. She is probably actively looking for cells to fill with little eggs. I'm going to put her back in very carefully. If you kill the queen, it causes all kinds of problems. I don't want her to be too bothered. So obviously things are going good with this brood box. They are starting to work on the middle frames and pull out wax. I'm going to let the queen get back to work. Well, we've reached the end of another video. Hopefully I can string these things together and edit into something that looks okay on YouTube. Thanks for watching, everybody. I would say click and subscribe, but I mean, who am I kidding? I'm gonna make like one video once in a while. Might not even be that good. I mean, if you're my mom, you should subscribe because, hello, support your kids and all that. But if you're somebody who doesn't know me, what are you doing here? Jeez, get a life. Go find something to do. It's like, there's so many things to be doing in the world and you're watching bee videos. Who knows? Have a great day.